So, the girls have been saying they've seen a shift in Drake's music.
And to see him turn around and just say, fuck the women who listen to my music, I'm only here for the men now, is really crazy.
Drake uses black women specifically to be the forefront of his music and his target audience, but really he's not for black women.
Drake is the perfect example of a man that does like performative allyship for feminism.
I'm going back through his discography to see if he really changed in the sense that he doesn't make music for the girls anymore, or if the girls have evolved collectively and we have a different perspective on something that was always there. Buckle up. My name's Elisa. If you've never met me, my name's Elisa. I'm the writer of Sunday Morning Juice, the blog, link in bio. We need to get cracking today. As you may know, we are getting to that point in the year where Apple Music and Spotify are about to drop those little report cards letting us know what we've been pumping into our brains all year long. Ever since these trackers were placed on us, Drake has been my #1 most listened to artist and doesn't even come close. However, I have a hunch that this year may be a little bit different. This shift, this change that the girls speak of, I have to believe that it came on to us gradual. So I'm going back through every album in chronological order. I'm listing the hit singles. I'm listing the most quotable, notable lyrics. And I'm lyrically giving an analysis of the album. This is not about the artistry. This is about, lyrics are artistry. This is about the words. We're not getting into the beats. We're not getting into the transitions. Like, I think it's great. I'm a fan. This is about the message. First, So Far Gone, hit single, Best I Ever Had. So not really any notable quotes just yet. He was 22, he was young. He really wasn't sassy yet. I guess that's what I learned. But that song, Let's Call It Off, I'm not laughing. I've never heard it before. I was like, wow, I am seeing his other side a little bit. I was 11 when this album came out. But him ending the album with the song Congratulations and a Riptide sample. So this is 22-year-old Drake's debut album. And I saw Lil Wayne in it 4 times. He was a rookie. In this album, he's talking about reaching a new level of fame and success. At that time, all of that was very new to him. Immediately, I was like, oh, this man really loves strippers. Love who you love. But he's 22. It's like they're just at work. All in all, I feel like he's genuinely a 22-year-old hopeless romantic that raps, but he's really bridging that gap between romance and vulnerability in rap music. Best I Ever Had, that was a song definitely for the female gaze. Moving on, Thank Me Later. Hit singles, Over, Fancy, Miss Me, Find Your Love. 3 out of the 4 of these singles definitely are about love. I'm gonna say he is giving the audience a peek into the male psyche. You know, after a failed relationship and you're just like, I just wonder what he's thinking. Drake kind of was that outlet for women in like 2010, 2011 to be like, what could he be thinking? He's settling into this new life, this new level of fame. But throughout this album, I'm still getting that hopeless romantic feel from him, that hopeless romantic vibe from him. Like, he's starting to see people in a different light. If there's any difference between this album and the last album, I would say maybe he just has a new level of fame, but he's still on his romantic conquest. It's nothing misogynistic. Moving on, Take Care. Hit singles are Headlines, Crew Love, Take Care, Marvin's Room, HYFR, and The Motto. So we've got 3 hype songs. We've got 3 vulnerable serenade songs. We could even call this a shift. This is like 50% club anthems, 50% for the girls. Honorable mention, Make Me Proud. I believe this is where Draken and Driving was born. This was the birth. And honestly, if there were one more slow song, I would be like, we could classify it as an R&B album. I digress. Drake is still talking about the same things, new level of success, running into the fakes, romantic conquests. He just does it so differently. Let me give you a breakdown. Even though I was listening to these albums back to back to back and I was seeing the same message repeated, he went from Camera's Good Ones, Doing It Wrong, The Real Her, Look What You've Done, Practice, almost in a row, and then The Ride. It's like he's taking us on a sensual journey. It gets a little bit messy, but he's very open and vulnerable. And then he gets really vulnerable about like his male counterpart relationships. It's just like your heart opens up. Pillow talk. Either way, a peek into the male psyche. Thanks, Drake. Next. Nothing was the same, and it wasn't. Hit singles. Started from the bottom. From Time. Worst Behavior. Hold On, We're Going Home. Come Through. All Me. So we've got that same layout. We get money, we party, we live, we lit. If I were really trying to reach for a conclusion at this point, I would be like, okay, he's trying to bring in a little bit more of a male fan base. This is where the notable lyrics, and when I say notable lyrics, I'm meaning, he's giving us some sass. Mr. Drizzy starts his album with Tuscan Leather. Before this album, he hasn't entered an album as confident, and I'm not even gonna say cocky. He's solidifying his place in the music industry, and a lyric I notice: the shit I heard from you lately really relieves some pressure. Like AB, I got your CD, you get an E for effort. I love Sneakers. I don't know, it keeps things fun and spicy. After Tuscan Leather, we get hit with Started from the Bottom. He's like, we're here. Like, we are here. He's got a trusty gang. Life is treating him good. But Mr. Man cannot get the romance thing right still. While the contents of Take Care are the same lyrically, I will say he is giving us a darker side of him, a little more violent side. He's charged up with a little more testosterone than before. You probably have people in your daily life that are jealous of you, and imagine when you just kind of start getting a lot of things. And so I just assume that's what he is feeling. Okay, but moving on. If you're reading this, it is too late. Hit singles: Legend, Energy, 10 Bands, Jungle, and Know Yourself. Notable lyrics: my ex asked me where I'm moving. I said on to better things. So boom, out the gate, he's giving us these high energy singles. Still meeting new levels of success, but he's like, I need some company. At the same time, he does talk about his mom, which is not for the first time, but he gives us You and the Six, and he's really been open about the support that she's given him throughout his career. He loves his mom. There is a little bit more of a shift, and I assume it's because he's got a lot of evil eyes on him. But of course, he's not gonna not give us the slow jams. We have Preach, we have Wednesday Night Interlude, we have Jungle, we have Madonna. However, the album is a bit more hazy. While he's still talking about the same things, he is growing a little bit more dark in front of our eyes. Next, What a Time to Be Alive. I almost didn't want to count this because it's just like Drake and Future. I'm gonna count it. But like personally, Future, can I name 5 songs? Probably. I could not name 10. Hit singles: Diamond Dancing and Jumpman. Notable lyrics:
2 in the morning, my mind is on you. 4 in the morning, it still hasn't moved.
I have to keep moving to catch the light, so just don't even mind. Off the bat, he's got some outside influences with him. Entire album, definitely for the dogs. They're basically just talking about bands on bands on bands on bands. Bands. There are things to note here. Like if we go to the song Change Locations, Future is like smashing all the models. Now we hit the waitress. And Drake is like, me and my friends, we got money to spend. You know what I mean? This album kind of reminds me of like when you have that one friend that's so fun, but they're kind of a bad influence, but you keep hanging out with them because they're so fun. Like this album was linked to a lot of core memories, and like while now I go back and I listen and I'm just like, they weren't talking about anything super notable to me. Maybe he was just giving us what we needed. 2015, that was probably what we needed. Next, Views. Hit singles: Feel No Ways, One Dance, Controlla, Too Good, and Hotline Bling. The girls are back. And we love it. Notable lyrics: I'm looking at their first week numbers like, what are those? I mean, you boys not even coming close. And then the last verse of the album, this one really stuck out to me. If I was you, I wouldn't like me either. I feel like this is something I would say to somebody in an argument, and like that's why I just feel like a connection to him. He's just so witty, and from one witty person to another, all I can do is express appreciation. Thank you. He starts the album off with Keep the Family Close. He's got a lot of people that he can't trust. He wish he would have kept his family a little bit closer. He's got a lot of chosen family. He is giving us a little bit more about his relationship with his mom, and his dad as well. A very important part to his life. He's wanting to build that relationship, and he also talks about ways that he was hurt in that relationship. Again, honing in on the lyricism. He's getting settled into his new life, but instead of finding ways to be stable in it, he's kind of accepting it for what it is. Romantic conquest that failed. He's almost continuing to go on with it, knowing they're gonna fail. He's continuing to go on with life, knowing that he can't trust people. And I'm sure he does open up to people. I'm sure his faith is being tested in that way. It just seems like maybe throughout the albums, he is getting a little bit more closed off. All in all, I think that he may be defeated with a lot of the relationships in his life, but he continues to lift himself up through his successes, which we know can cause an imbalance. Next, More Life. Hit singles: Passion Fruit, Portland, Teenage Fever, Fake Love, honorable mention, Sacrifices. Notable lyrics, one of my favorite. When I was writing for a client, I put this lyric into like the final ad campaign. How you forget to fill up with gas on the road to riches. My portfolio's in the bio if you want to book me. He starts us out with Free Smoke. He's handing it, I'm getting the sense that he's feeling pretty alienated because of his success. Right from Free Smoke, he goes into No Long Talk. He is getting a little bit more closed off, a little bit more dark. But then he goes into the R&B of it all, Passion Fruit, Georgia Interlude, Get It Together, back into our hearts, right back here. He's got more features with male artists like Quavo, Travis Scott, 2 Chainz, Kanye West, Young Thug. He's still giving the female fan base what they love, what they need, what they want. Mabita Rhythm, 4422, Nothing's Into Somethings, Since Way Back, and then giving us that vulnerability at the very end with Do Not Disturb. And I feel like this becomes a new pattern for him. He just gets open at the end, almost like an annual diary entry. And at this point, it's becoming clear to me that he is aging, but he's not really growing in all the ways. Next, Scorpion. Hit singles, Nonstop, God's Plan, Nice for What, a female anthem, In My Feelings, Vulnerability, notable lyrics, House on Both Coasts, but I live in the charts. We're not together, but I get the info on you because I'm nice to your friends. He mentions friends a bit, and this is why he's never been innocent. But if you are my friend and you are watching this, never cross me like that. You will be done. So he starts us off with Survival. He is in life-threatening positions now. The album cover is gray. The album feels gray, almost like a Twilight Zone. Same struggles, but he's got some life-threatening anecdotes. And also he has a baby. How I was like, oh, he's aging, but he's not really growing. God's Plan. He's also talking about a little bit more contempt with his relationships. For example, he talks about being obligated to take DNA tests. He talks about having to pay child support. He talks about how things with his baby's mother is not that sweet. He's at a different stage of his life. And he's a single father, which is something that he never wished to do. He is forced to grow because he has a son and he is taking responsibility for that kid. Next, Care Package. So this album will not be a part of our analysis today because this is mainly older leaked songs that throw off the timeline. However, I do want to point out, this is the first album he's dropping from his OVO label and not Cash Money Entertainment. So congratulations. In the hit singles, The Motion, How About Now, Trust Issues, Girls Love Beyonce, Can I? Honorable mention, Heat of the Moment. The girls love this. Next, Dark Lane demo tapes. Hit singles, Chicago Freestyle, Not You Too, Time Flies, In Pain, 1993. Notable lyrics. This one will probably go down in the Hall of Fame of Drake lyrics. Baby mama a fluke, but I love her for who she is. So this album feels a bit guarded, and I can imagine it is because the world is talking down on him, on his baby mama, her appearance. I remember this a lot. And then he has a son. I'm sure he's feeling a different level of protection that he hasn't really felt before, and he really doesn't mention his son that much. We have some melancholic vibes. We have the vulnerable slow jams, When to Say When, Not You Too, Desires, and Losses. He is feeling deeply, you guys. Time Flies, 1993. From Florida with Love. His face is covered. He's feeling guarded. He ends the album with War. Need I Say More? Next, Certified Lover Boy. Hit singles, Girls Want Girls, Fair Trade, Way Too Sexy, No Friends in the Industry, Knife Talk. Notable lyrics. Sierra Canyon parking lot looking like Magic City parking lot? I never knew why he said that. Trust me, this ain't about revenge. Now I get along better with your friends. Let me say this publicly. Friends, don't do that. So at this point, I went through 4 or 5 days of just listening to the albums back to back to back to back to back. He isn't talking about anything new. I love Fountains and Race My Mind. And he's definitely not a hopeless romantic anymore. Maybe he's a hopeless romantic. No, I'm just that. Next, Honestly Nevermind. Hit single, Jimmy Crooks. Notable lyrics. Analysis. This is a house vibe, very much so about his endless romantic conquests. I don't know if he's looking for love at this point, guys. I don't really think he's actually taking any responsibility for his own actions. I will say I played this album into the ground in my spin classes. I love the song Liability, but it's just same old, same old, same old. moving on. Her Loss. We've got another collab album. This time it is with 21 Savage, and the hit singles are Rich Flex, Major Distribution, On BS, Spin About You, Jumbotron, Shit Poppin'. Notable lyrics. You say I'm persuasive, girl, but you can't even spell that shit. Sidebar. Serena, your husband a groupie. Okay, I had to bring this one up because this one did cause some friction. Drake, he's talked about this before with the name dropping, and he's never gonna drop my name, so thank God, thank God. The analysis on this album isn't much. It's very much so for the male gaze. He said Her Loss. They're just really talking about girls, money, a little bit of pill popping, flexing on the haters. I did listen to Spin About You heavy. The video did make me want to listen to it more. So is that a peek into the male psyche? Trying to manipulate us? Last album, you guys. For All the Dogs, Scary Hours edition. Hit singles, Red Button, Stories About My Brother, The Shoe Fits, Wickman, Evil Ways, You Broke My Heart. Notable lyrics.
Hey, Lee. It's sad, I know all the tea.
Not only is he name dropping, but he poured shame on it. They say love is like a BBL. You won't know it's real until you feel one. I could have treated you better. Nope. What's your baby's shoe size? I can tell by the laces, they're tight. Oh my God. I feel like I'm bi because you're one of the guys. My analysis is actually just going to be this final notable lyric. It says all it needs to say. To all the ladies wondering why Drake can't rap like the same old guy, it's because I don't know how anymore. He goes on to say his faith has been tested, and then he says, to all the super triggered women talking down on me, relax, drink some water, act like someone's daughter. And actually, a notable lyric would be the entire song of The Shoe Fits. In conclusion, I spent 50 hours preparing for this video. At the beginning, I completely thought it was going to be something different than what it ended up to be. I was really hoping to find a profound answer for you guys, and I think the takeaway would just be mind your business and act like someone's daughter. If it's not resonating, y'all, we just gotta let it go. You know what I mean? He was 22 years old when he started his career. I was 11. Times have changed, and I've evolved, and you've evolved, and he's evolved. All I can really say is thank God nobody's the same anymore. I know this will be a very, very, very lengthy video. If you stayed to the end, thank you. If you need to be set free from this Drizzy spell because you're sad he changed, set yourself free. Maybe one day we'll find our way back, but if not, we'll find exactly what we're meant to find. Drizzy's gonna Drizzy, and you're gonna you. So wherever the wind takes you, go there. For all the girls.